Hey, I'm Decathlon Gamer. Welcome back to Football Manager 2020 Zero to Hero, the Youth Factory FC series. It's episode number 12. And as we kick off this new season, things are definitely not the same as they were after losing our top stars to big money. We did open the season with an FA Cup win, but then our first two league matches were losses. Back to back. Yeah. And then we've bounced back with some fairly close victories. We did get the next FA Cup round win as well. And then again with the FA Cup. So we've played quite a few games in the FA Cup already. Then the Integra League Cup. We barely squeezed through on a penalty shootout after finishing 0-0. But then we're now out of the FA Cup and to Maidstone, so a much higher level team, but they did it with 10 men. They did it with 10 men that they beat us. They got both of their goals relatively late into the game, past the hour mark. We claw one back, but it's not enough, and we're out of the FA Cup in the second qualifying round. So in terms of the competitions, well, FA Cup, they wanted us to reach the first round, so not so good in that department. Haven't gotten into the FA Trophy yet, but the Integro League Cup, they want us to win that one. Wow, okay. But then in the league, at the moment, we've only played 5 matches with all of this other stuff going on. You can see others around us we have as many as 3 games in hand on them, so it's not as bad as it looks, but we're only in 11th. Rough start to the season, and as we push forward about 45 days, let's see how the team does. At the turn into November, things have gone a bit more smoothly over the last chunk of time. Not to say that things are fantastic yet, but we've definitely turned around our position. We've gone from mid-table up to third, still 3 games in hand. 5-1 over the last 6 is much better than the 3-2 start that we had. We've got the best goal differential, but again, it's pretty tight, just plus 13 through 11 games is, well, it's good. It's not a bad goal differential by any means, but it is not the signs of dominance that we've had over the last couple seasons. It's been the Williamson-Toyne show. He's got 14 goals. He's got the best average rating. He's equal on the most assists and most player of the match. So it really is his team now. Balance is looking good, up over 3.5 million now. You can see we had our little double blip here, where we built the stadium and then we sold Matthews on for even more money than where we were kind of following the line. But I love how the finances are good. They go up, up, and up. Look at the profile, of course, nothing on the hands-on approach. Loyalty is starting to look good. Handling team discipline's good. Media handling, I still get the occasional, and so that's working out in the reputation. Well, it's slowly building, and in the attributes, we have finished our National A license. So with the National A license, you can see we're now into quite a few 8s. Attacking, defending, tactical, technical, mental, all at 8. We've got some 3s, 4s, 5s. And then on the mental side, we continue to develop. Discipline a bit lower than everything else at just a 4. The adaptability is completely unimportant, as we already have our job and we're not going anywhere else. But 7s and 8s in the bulk of the mental categories. And the reputation up to 1.5 stars now, so it is growing. It's continuing to grow, and that's good. Even though we've moved up to 3rd place things are still actually really tight. If you look, we're just 4 points clear of North Ferriby in 10th. Hanging on in the FA Trophy and the Integra League Cup. So both of those have gone better of late. And let's see, where did we leave off at? We left off with that lost Maidstone. And then FA Trophy extra preliminary opened with a draw. And then a win with penalties in the return fixture of that, the replay. But then we finally started getting things going. 2-0, 5-0, 5-0, 1-0, 2-1, 2-1. Finally a loss, and it's only by a goal, and then a 4-2 win has kind of settled things down a bit. You can see we still have plenty of cup competitions going on. FA Trophy second qualifying round coming up here shortly, but otherwise a lot of league matches in the next little bit. The team, how are we looking now? Reputation up to an 864. Finances are of course good, but we're still semi-professional. Still hanging on to the 20s, and of course this is all going to change relatively soon when the stadium is done. Oh gosh, when was the stadium going to be done? Next year? The year after? Yeah, we've still got a year and a half until the stadium will be done. And it's going to be a very small stadium starting out. Alright, well, things looking a little bit better of late. Certainly like that. Williamson Towing starting to pull a little bit further clear on 109. Scott Frame not too far behind him on 105. Barry Ball approaching a 100 now. So the team getting a bit more balanced. You can see from pretty much Phil Hammond and beyond. It's a quality group, those 78s and above. Still very good for this level. But it's that support around them that's still a bit lacking. And I think one more youth intake and we'll get rid of the last of the first year guys like Gage Swain. The under 23s, it's Devitt at a 64, but he's kind of locked into that high end. Not much he can do there in growth. Stephen Owen, the big star with some potential here. We could see him emerging into the first team before too long, as well as Forbes. Both of those guys looking like the kind of players that could make their mark. But with all of these guys still left, the remnants of the days of old, it's going to be a while before we see anything. In fact, even Curry and White haven't improved at all in ages. Reaching the midpoint of December and the season, our position continues to look stronger and stronger. For one thing, we've really distanced ourselves from the mid-pack. However, we're still just goal differential inside the promotion zone, or at least one game beyond Brighouse. Still played just 17, so we're 3 games in hand on the league leaders and just 2 points behind, plus the goal differential favoring us. So yes, we are looking relatively stable. Last time we were 8-3, now 12-5, so that's 4-2 in the last 6. Not the greatest record. Definitely not the greatest record, and we're not pulling clear by any means at this point, so we're really struggling to try to get ahead. But again, the games in hand should be enough to be the difference to move into that promotion zone. going back into my attributes for a second and the development of reputation, it's now at a 30%, and that is a near 5,000 on the reputation overall. So we're definitely starting to look good in that area, and especially for a team of this level, we're looking good on that one. So in the recent matches, FA Trophy still doing well, 5-0 in the last one, but we did get ourselves knocked out of the Integro League Cup. So in just the second round, we are out of that competition. Definitely not meeting expectations in the silverware department this year. You can see a lot of green of late, just the couple 1-0, 1-0, 2-3, 1-2, all one-goal losses. I'm still piling in quite a few of the 5-0 type victories, 4-2s. So we're winning by a large margin most of the time. So we're still good. We're still that team, but every once in a while we're just getting held in check. Something that Nicky Matthews did a really good job of preventing from happening terribly often prior. So we are definitely not the dominant force that we were. Williamson Toyne breaking the 110 mark. Frame not really developing terribly well, but he has been injured and he is on the verge of coming back. But he's missed 6 matches, but just 4 assists so far this season for him. Williamson Toyne up to 22 goals in 30 appearances, and Tom Gregory, playing that striker position, has fewer goals. He's got 19. He's got 6 assists. He's playing well. And you can see he's definitely improving rapidly here recently. So hopefully that'll continue and he can step up into that role well enough. Drew Dale, our other winger, 10 goals for him, 8 assists for him. We'll see what the group continues to do going forward. We still, still need more. We're definitely not quite there. Leadership support, of course, really good now. Atmosphere is very good, but could be better. Team cohesion, though, excellent. And that's one of the things about a group like this, a squad like this. All youth intake. We're not making moves. We're not suddenly bringing in 3-4 new players every year into the lineup. It's now starting to be more of a slow burn with players coming out youth intake. There is some hope for the upcoming youth intake. I got a little feedback on what to expect, and in those expectations we are looking at potentially having a really good central midfielder and a really good fullback. That central midfielder obviously is the one that's going to excite me the most, as that's been our weak point for quite some time. So hopefully that player is ready to step in right away. With it just the middle of December, I don't expect much to change for a while. I mean, we still have the competitions going on, but being knocked out here, FA Trophy really is all that's going on. Next up is Bath City, so jumping to a 6th tier opponent, a couple tiers above us, that won't be an easy match to get through there in the FA Trophy, and there's a good chance that our work in all the trophies will be done, which will get us caught up. So I would imagine by the time we hit our next period, our next stopping point, we might be down to just the one competition. And if we're catching up on the games played, hopefully we'll see ourselves listed at the top of the league at the next break point. Also, of course, January transfer window is upcoming pretty soon. This season, I don't expect major fireworks. I mean, looking, at the squad, there's some good potential in Williamson Toyne and Barry Ball, but they're not that 150 plus. They're not the 160 plus players that are going to attract a ton of attention. Williamson Toyne will get a bit. I just hope that there isn't some massive bid coming in to get him away, because we really can't afford to spare any more players at this point. Into the final day of the transfer window. So far, no offers that seem to affect us in any way. I don't think any team's going to make a bid high enough, though. It's deadline day. You never know when things could emerge later in the day. Looks unlikely. It's definitely good for me at this point. Also, as we've caught up on games played, we now have a 6-point lead in the league and a plus 21 goal differential over second place Dunstan. So looking really good on that. 19-7, no draws to our name. We're definitely not dominant. It's that there's still not much in it, but it's looking better and better as the season goes on. Williamson toying up to 31 goals now, 12 assists now. He's still leading essentially every category for the team as we go forward. He's also up to a 111. Scott Frame actually still not recovered from his injury, but he is back to full condition in about 3 days' time. So we'll get him back into the lineup finally here in just a little bit, as he has not played for the last couple of months. And that's also a really good sign that we're missing one of our two best players. And then, of course, missing, realistically, our two best players, both signed away in the last year. So the fact that we're in the position we're in at this point is promising. Very promising. We're going to go ahead and try to push forward through this day as best we can. I'm definitely not going to partake in the activities here on transfer deadline day. I'd like to just kind of navigate through it and at the same time update the lineup so that we get Frame back into the side and see, how things are looking at that point as we move into the final stages of the season, as we move into 1st February and then, of course, March, where we'll have our youth intake and kind of make that next push for what future midterm, short term we'll have in store for us. FA Trophy quarterfinal coming up after a match later this week. And here's what I was looking for. We'll go ahead and use the suggested squad on that one. Get Moffat in for Catton, but then it's Jackson at fullback and not Frame. So he is still missing. I'm going to have to make sure I don't just jump forward 45 days and we go without our top man for a month and a half just because of the awkward timing. Oh, great. Williamson Toyne. If you're wanting a $3,000 bid to be accepted, you got to be kidding yourself there. Influential presence. Can't afford to lose you. Would a pay raise tempt you to stay? Okay, that's fine. At least he didn't go crazy. Okay, Scott Frame up over 10,000. This is the worrying part. These bids are going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. Off, great ball 2. Yeah, same thing, but not the worst responses. And Warren and Gregory. That's 4 or 5 players that everyone's keen on, and as the day goes on, those bids are going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. Just hopefully they don't get crazy. That's a lot for a few hours gone by. Getting up into the high 20s now on some of these bids. But again, that's nothing yet. I mean, it's going to take something closer to $500,000 to get anything that is accepted. And as a result, those two guys unhappy. Really, they're not that unhappy. They're not that mad, and so I'll take it. Final day of the transfer window. This is going to happen to me every time. I should have just said he's going nowhere, but okay, here they go. 50,000 plus. 100,000 now, and it's just 3 o'clock. It's a little bit early in the day for bids starting to get to that size. $145 now, $165. $220, $275. It's only 5 o'clock. And this is starting to get dangerous. $325 now. Looks like Williamson Toyne, the only one who is clawing high enough in the fee area that we might run into problems. 7 o'clock. $425, $475, $525. I'm hoping that the recent bids are enough that the ownership $700,000, $900,000. Oof. There's $1 million. So far, the board staying firm. Remember, they just collected a lot of money already in losing our best player in Matthews. They've resisted a $1 million bid. We might be in the clear here. And for a team our size, $1 million is a ton of money. But comparatively, a Premier League talent or a prospect, $1 million's nothing. But it's just because we play in the 8th tier. And we've made it. Okay. We got through. It's February 1st. $1 million was the big bid. That had to be really close to being enough for the board to accept it. Unfortunately for us, it didn't go through, or did it? Or did it? Why do we suddenly have $8 million? Where did we get a huge injection from? Alright, let's check in on those finances because I have no idea what happened. We just gained $4.5 million last month to this month. So what brought in that kind of money? Players sold $4.3 million. What? Players sold. Feels like an error of some kind. Feels like an error of some kind. I don't think there was anything in that. Well, it appears we survived the transfer season intact. No players lost, but the checkbook seems to say otherwise. Very confused by that. But either way, where we now stand is we're pushing into the later stages of the season. 26 of 38 played, so we've got a dozen games left to go in the league. We're still in the FA Trophy. Third round. Eastbourne Borough is next. And we're starting to make our mark in the league, but it's still pretty close. It's still touch and go. And also, before I just jump forward in time, we need to make sure we get Scott Frame back into the side. But of course, Luka Jackson, there's nothing wrong with Luka Jackson. And he's playing quite well, 7.44 of the last 5, but just over a 7. He is not Scott Frame. He's good, but he's not that good yet. He's developing, though, and will continue to do so. Just 18, of course. Look at the entire side now, outside of Gage Swain, the last original. Look how young we are. This truly is a youth side, and over time we'll develop and hang on to players better and better. A couple weeks on, and I'm going to wrap this episode up. Next episode, we should be starting into March and right around the youth intake. But as I wrap this one up, I have made the move finally away from our first assistant manager, Ian Kilford, who outside of adaptability and determination has no quality as an assistant coach. Remember, we started with 0 reputation, so as that reputation now builds, there's a lot better options out there. Of course, a lot of the better options are unreachable. But as the board slowly improves the allowable budget for staff hires, we finally have our man in Dean Rook. Ian Kilford, well, he's going to be gone. So Dean Rook should be now signing on. And will take over duties as assistant manager. And there you go. So we bring in Dean Rook, $230 per week. It's a 1-year deal, but it does include an extension if we gain promotion. And you can quickly see just how much of an improvement there is. Now, determination is not fantastic. It's just a 10, but he's got the discipline. He's got man management at a 10, judging ability potential both a 9. It's on the coaching side of obviously where he's really going to have a bit of an impact for us with 8s and 9s and an 11 on working with youngsters. So definite step in the right direction for us. He's already on a Continental A license. Not much of a reputation, the 33-year-old, but that's okay. That's okay by me. It's definitely a step up. Also, he's a gegenpress guy, so at least we have that going for us. And I will slowly but surely reshape our staff, which of course there's not much to reshape, is there? Scott Frame getting back in, you can already see the rapid improvement as he's recovering from that injury. Barry Ball continues to improve and is just on the verge of hitting a 100. So looking forward to keeping things going in the right direction. In just those couple weeks, our lead is now at 7 points. We did pick up a draw, so it's not been all wins over those last couple games, but it's still going the right direction for now. See, we have a draw in the FA third round, but we won the replay, and then also a draw in the league. But then we won the other 2 games. So we're up to the FA Trophy quarterfinal. We're going to be playing York for that one, so that's another step up. Tougher opponent, couple divisions higher. But last time, same division, we played Bath City and managed to beat them 5-1. So we are hanging on and producing pretty good results. But this is all that's left on the calendar at this point. Of course, unless we extend the FA Trophy beyond the York match. Not much left to play as we head down the stretch. Next episode, we will definitely see the end of the season coming. But that's going to do it for this one. I'm Decathlon Gamer. Thanks for tuning in. Be sure to hit that like button, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.